be exactly what you want to be without all of the fear around you. We have to stand up together.
Welcome back to another episode of The Chairman Project with Jason Sisneros. We are going to be talking about being a master builder versus an imitator today. We've got a great group of people that joined us here early on X. Those of you that are following the show, if you want to be involved in the live audience, you want to be involved in the live conversation, we do this every Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 10:30. We go about an hour with content, and the last 30 minutes is live Q&A. It's like a radio show. We can communicate, we can talk, you can ask questions, you can bring your business challenges, you can talk about your experience with the Growth Course at growthcourse.com/freedom. For those of you that get the Chairman Project discount, that's the website that you want to go to. And we have a great conversation every week. Every weekend. This week it just happens to be a couple of hours early because we are involved in a corporate deep dive, which is what Anton J, ANTONJAE.com. If you have a company that needs our help, you can give us a call or reach out to us on that website. But that's where we're at. We're in Florida this week instead of beautiful Charleston, South Carolina. And we're going to be talking about whether you're a master builder or an imitator. We talk about the book that's going to be coming out shortly is called Built to Exit. BuiltToExit.biz. If you go there and throw in your email address, you get show notes. I put a lot of preparation into these shows week to week. And after the show is over and we edit the video and we put out the content, we put out these show notes. And so you can get how I thought about putting this together. You can see the highlights. It's really great to consolidate the information that we talk about and then how you can apply it over the next 7 days. Everybody that listens to the show knows we're on a 7-day sort of link. We learn something new. We start to apply those things over that 7-day period of time. We get the results from that, and then we adjust from there. This show is about taking action on your own finances. This show is about the concept that your small to medium-sized companies, the SMEs is how we're sort of designated in the world. And all that means is how many employees do you have? 0 to 499 designates you as a small to medium enterprise. And that's who I'm talking to constantly. And here's why. The biggest concept is that we live in a day and age where we have the ability to start our own business and to take our financial destiny into our own hands. And the best way to build freedom for yourself is through a business. And for you to be able to create that freedom and that distance from the wolves and your journey to your own end game financially. And so we talk about those strategies. I was able to do it in my own life and was able to free myself and exit my own business. We talk a lot. The book is called Built to Exit because there's 3 ways. If you've started a business, if you're working on your finances, you want to be thinking about your end game. And if you're starting this process, the end always ends in some sort of an exit. There's only 3 types. You love what you do, you don't really want to stop doing it, you want to continue to do it for the rest of your life because you love what you do. That's excellent. The exit for you is going to be from being obligated to being optional. That is one type of an exit. You love what you do, but you want to be able to build systems and processes and be able to build that company and that machine into something that you can, now you're no longer obligated to be. You don't have to be there. You can actually take some time off. You can spend some more time with your kids. You can go travel the world. You can go on a vacation, whatever it is for you. That's one level of exit. The second type of exit is total time control. You get all of your time back so that you can do what's next for you. Start a charity, start another business, go sail around the world with your husband or wife. Whatever it is for you, that's total time control. And you can buy that back by having an end game that's that specific. The third exit is for you to be able to sell your asset, to be able to sell your business and go on and do whatever it is that you want to do. Now, keep in mind that most businesses, less than 7% ever sell. And so what we talk about here is building a company, whether you keep it, whether you're still in it, whether you keep it and you step away from it, or whether you're trying to exit. You should always be building your company with assets in mind. Assets, simply defined, are technology, people, process, and measurement that create a predictable outcome in that area of your business that no longer requires you or leadership in your organization. So that's all we talk about. Week after week after week. And we've got some great stories, we've got some great anecdotes. And this week I was reminded about about this idea, being a master builder or an imitator. And those of you that are in the growth course or graduates of the growth course, or you're going through it, it's one of the first stories that I tell about my son. And when he was younger, he used to love. He's really my nickname in business is the architect, because I architect successful businesses and help builders actually build what they want for their own end game. But my son actually has an architectural mind as well. And when he was younger, he used to love Legos, right? And Legos is such a great analogy when it comes to business, right? Most of us, we start a business and we just start doing something. We create that initial revenue and we're busy and we're excited, but now we're starting to see results. We made our first sale. We're so excited. And then we make our second sale, and you get a year into it and you're like, oh, I really don't have a business. What I have is a 30-day runway. Right? I have a 30-day runway. I'm looking at my business and I'm looking at, okay, all right, it's the 30th of the month and we're getting ready to go into the 1st of next month. Now I've got to go make those exact same sales. I've got to go do that. And we start to realize that we've just put ourselves on a hamster wheel of sorts. And that's okay though, because at least we're not working for somebody else. Right? And we justify all of these things and eventually it's going to get better. And then you get a little bit of a reputation and it seems like you're actually building a business, right? This is the difference between being and there's nothing wrong with it, by the way. That's how I started my career. I spent a lot of years not understanding this concept of imitator versus master builder. And that's what I did. I was making good money. Right? If somebody would have come in and said, Jason, you're an imitator in business, I would have been like, screw you, man. Like, I've got a real business here. I've got money coming into my pocket. I'm able to buy a home. I'm able to do this. I'm able to go on vacations. I'm able to do this kind of stuff. But nobody was able to have the conversation that we have every single week is to say, well, Jason, you have to be there again. So it's a job. And again, nothing against anybody that has a business that you're in. And I'm not shaming anybody. What I'm saying is eventually, either now you've already come to this conclusion but weren't able to verbalize it, or you will eventually get to this point where you say, is this all there is? And now I'm trapped because everything that you love, you can also learn to hate. And when you think about it from that perspective, I'm just there's a great saying. You never go to and I said this last week as well, you don't go to the wise man. The wise man's never at the bottom of the mountain. You have to traverse, right? You have to go through your own trials. It's a great metaphor in a lot of different ways, is that you want to get the wise man is at the top of the mountain. So what that means is you want to get advice from people who are where you want to be. I've been able to create some, freedom in my own life to be able to do the things that I love, to be able to rescue kids, to be able to help domestic violence, to be able to feed people, to be able to go wherever I want to at any time with my wife, to be able to go on vacations, to be able to do the things that I want to do in this life. And so this is what we talk about. Eventually, you get to a place where you're done trying to take sugar pills, right, that tell you that they're going to cure cancer. You're done with people that tell you that experience, that freedom, that riches are right around the corner with these 7 easy steps, right? You just get to a place, eventually, you get to a place and you're like, I need real information. I need real skill sets. And because I want to build a real business that is a machine that creates cash without me present. And that's where I cross paths with people, is when they get to that point and they're like, I'm tired of listening to the fake gurus. I'm tired of listening to the 22-year-old telling me how to become rich overnight. I'm tired of listening to the same old garbage of great marketers, but people that are light on content that can actually impact me and my life. And so that's what we talk about. And Legos is such a great example of that. What happens is, in business, the end game that we talk about, that's the picture on the box. It tells you, here's what I'm building, right? This is the thing that I'm gonna build. And that picture for us on the front of the Lego box is our end game, where we say, I want a home that's paid off. I want money in the bank that's spinning off 10% interest so that I can live on that money if everything falls apart. I've got money for my kids' education. I've got time, I've got money to donate to the things that I care about. I've got money to start another business. Financial freedom, we don't talk about it enough. It is one of the most important aspects of freedom in general. And you've got this great tool in your hands called a small to medium-sized business that you're going, I just know that it's not optimized. I just know that it can be doing better. I just know that it can be putting more money in my pocket. And so once you come to that conclusion, you paint your picture. And you'd be amazed. I saw Joe join us today. Joe is the president of Anton J, my consulting company. And it's amazing to me, and I know Joe and I have had this conversation 100 times, where we walk into a business that's been around third generation, it's been around 10 years, 30 years, whatever it is, and they haven't painted the picture on the box. It's fascinating to me that they haven't painted the picture on the box. They haven't said, here's what my outcome is, right? Here's why I'm doing this thing 12 hours a day. This is why I put my house on the line. This is why I borrowed money from my family. This is why I will put myself in debt at the bank. This is why I'm doing the things that I'm doing. And that's the picture. If you don't have the picture, what are you building? Right? There's lots of downstream ramifications for not having that picture developed in the very beginning. Even if you're 10 years into your business right now, stopping and saying, okay, 18 months from now, 5 years from now, here's what I want this thing to be building, because now you have a picture, right? Now you have something to measure your progress against. And not only that, but once you start building it, you're going to need other people, right? The income levels based on how many employees people have, you're looking at less than $100,000 a year for people who have no employees. And you're talking about the average of $336,000 a year per employee on average for people that have employees. That's a big spread. And it's not about the employee, it's about actually building an asset that requires an employee, that requires the extra person, that has risen itself intellectually to the point where you're now solving problems at a higher level for your clients. You've fallen in love with their outcome, you've got traction in the marketplace, and now you can start to build. So less than $100,000 versus $336,000 per employee. You pick, right? And so now when you get that first employee, instead of going, I just want you to do all the shit that I hate to do and take it over, which is the typical thinking that happens the first employee that you bring in, versus going to that employee and going, okay, what I need is somebody that can build this portion and is good at it, knows what they're doing. They're better than I understand the concept enough to be able to tell them what I want done, but I'm going to find somebody who specializes in that particular area, whether that's finance, whether that's sales, whether that's operations, whether that's culture building, whatever it is that is the most important need for you. Now you can turn to them and go, here's the picture on the box. We're going to build the same thing. Hi, my name is Jason Sisneros, founder and chairman of Anton J Global, a world-class business consulting company that has helped hundreds of clients and thousands of growth course students fix, scale, and successfully master their businesses. To put it simply, my team and I help people turn their businesses into machines that create cash. To better support startups and other mid-sized companies, my team and I developed a phenomenal and comprehensive digital growth course where I poured decades of business ownership and know-how into 20 hours of content. This course is not easy. It's not an easy pill. but demands real work from you to implement the blueprints that I've developed. We know that reaching financial freedom is never easy, but totally worth it. Go to growthcourse.com right now to learn more about the course and get started on your business journey today. Joe and I run into people all the time in their companies that we ask them what they're doing, and they go, well, here's the picture. They tell us verbally, because it's very seldom is written down. And then we go to their employees and we say, what are you building? And they tell us something completely different. Right? We say, we're building a boat. Well, one person's building a tanker, the other person's building a rowboat, the other person's building a speedboat. And you go, oh, no wonder. We don't have a picture to operate off of. Right? If you're running for president, what do you have to do? You have to pick up that box and go, here's what it looks like. It can't be just a word. It has to be something that people can identify with. It has to be something in my business that they can go, oh, I now know exactly what we're building. I know what the outcome is, right? And so then secondarily, you take that and you go, okay, well, what am I going to do? How are we going to get to that picture that's on the box? How am I going to get to that end game that I have decided for my family and my business? How am I going to build that? Well, you open a Lego box and what's inside of it? Instructions. It tells you, here, open the page and you go, oh, there's this piece goes to that piece. And then you go, these two pieces, now that they're connected, they go to these pieces. It's idiot proof, right? It's idiot proof. And then the next thing that you have to have once you have that plan in place is you take that instruction manual off and you go, oh, here's all the pieces. And that's an asset. Like, all you have to do is think about your business like a Lego. And if you don't have the assets, you can't build anything. Or if you only have 4 assets. We often, I'll tell you this just blatantly, there's about 40 assets that need to be built in an organization for you to be able to step away. To have an exit, there's about 40 assets that need to be built. And they need to be built well enough that you're no longer required. And an asset, your building block in the Lego box, is simply an asset. That asset is a combination of technology, people, processes, and measurement that create a predictable outcome, whether that's sales, whether that's operations, which is delivery on the promise. Any of those areas, you have a system, a process that has technology, people, process, and measurement embedded in it that creates a predictable outcome that does not require you. Okay? That's the definition of an asset. That's the definition of the building block that's inside the Lego box, right? So now you have the picture, you have the instruction manual, which is what the growthcourse.com/freedom is, right? That's the instruction manual. And then you have the pieces, which is what you already have available to you. The amount of money that you have, the employees that you have or don't have, the customer base that you have. There's a lot of things that you start to piece together once you have a proper instruction manual. And most people don't have that. Most people don't have an instruction manual. They're winging it, right? In business, it takes as much education to open a business as it does to make a baby, right? There's very little instruction manuals out there. You just go, boom, I know exactly how to create the baby, but now what do I do as a parent? So it takes that much. So knowing that, then you look at the game that you're playing. How many Lego boxes are out there? Well, there's 33 million Lego boxes called businesses in the United States. 33 million. From 0 to 499 employees, right? There's 33 million. And there's a lot of Lego boxes out there, and you go, okay, cool. How many of those Lego boxes have pictures, instructions, and the pieces to be able to build that monument that you want to build? 95% of them never happen. That means they fail, right? 95% of companies fail within a 10-year period of time. 50% of those don't even get out of the first year. So what are they missing? Are they missing the picture? Are they missing the instruction manual? Or are they missing the pieces? They're missing a combination of all 3 of those. So that's what we talk about here. And I go back to this experience that I had with my son. We went to watch the Lego movie, and then he was so excited. And then Lego, their genius marketing, you want to talk about a genius business. right? Some people that really understand how to build put out a movie and then have all those boxes with 7,422 pieces in it, and then have parents like me with excited kids get stuck with building those things. It's a lot of fun. So anyway, we got Blackbeard's ship, and this thing has a ton of pieces, and we started to build it, in the evening, and started to put this thing together, and it was like 1 or 2 in the morning, and I was so frustrated because the thing was wobbly and it wouldn't stand on its own. It was obvious that I had made a mistake. Think about your business. If you stopped right now and you looked at your business, is it wobbly or is it on solid ground, right? That you're just building pieces by pieces by piece. What are you doing? And so for me, I looked at it and it was obvious because it was so wonky. I knew like it was going to topple over, and I was so frustrated. And I looked to my son and I was like, I want to smash this thing against the wall. Have you ever felt like you wanted to smash your business against the wall? Have you ever felt like you wanted to take whatever you're planning, whatever you're working on, and just throw it out the door, right? I met with this company that we're working on down here in Florida this weekend, and one of the guys that was there, he told me something very interesting. He said, 4 days out of the week, I absolutely love everybody here and I love what I do. And there's 1 day a week that I want to flip everybody both birds and say, I'm done, I'm out of here, right? And I think that a lot of people feel like that about their businesses. There's some days that are really good and there's some days that are really bad. And so that's where I was with building this ship with my son. And I was like, I just want to throw this thing against the wall and go to bed. But I thought, no, I got to be a good dad. This is a great parenting moment. And so I said, son, I think we made a mistake somewhere early on in the game. And so we took the instruction manual and we disassembled that ship back to where we had made a mistake. And then we were able to build it back out, and right around sunrise, we got done. And I was like, oh man, and it dawned on me how great of a lesson that I had just been taught by working with my son on a Lego ship. The lesson, and I told him, I go, son, this was amazing. We're excited. It was done. And we were getting ready to go to IHOP to celebrate. And I said, this was a great lesson. He goes, what do you mean, Dad? I said, he goes, I told him, I said, this is a great example of what I do with businesses. We tear it back down to where it was broken and we build back with a set of an instruction manual. And he said, I know, Dad, we're master builders. And he high-fived me and we moved on. But it was such a great lesson to think about being a master builder. And it's stuck in my mind ever since my 8-year-old son told me that phrase. And so as I was thinking about doing this show, I started thinking about being a master builder. And so I was thinking, if you're an imitator, right? If you're an imitator, and all I mean by that is you haven't gotten to that point yet where you either you trust a good instruction manual, you haven't gotten to the point where it's clicked in your brain. You just haven't been able to articulate it just yet, that I need to actually build something solid here that doesn't require me. Everybody gets there. If your business survives long enough, everybody gets to that point where they say to themselves, I've got to do something different or else this thing is going to kill me, right? Or it's going to go out of business and then I'm going to be stuck with all the debt and all the bad reputation and I'm going to have to go get a job or whatever your scenario is. Everybody gets there. And so I started to think about, well, let's talk about a few of the people that are out there that have built things as an imitator. And it brought me to some architecture. It's something that I'm interested in all the time because building a business is no different than building some sort of a monument or a bridge or anything like that. And I started to think about this story that I had heard about from the 40s and it's the collapse of the Tacoma Narrows Bridge. And I'll just read you a quick excerpt from it. Often cited in the engineering textbooks. Think about this. You don't want your business or anything that you're building to ever end up in the textbooks as an epic failure. But the Tacoma Narrows Bridge in Washington, here in the United States, is one of the most infamous examples of structural failure. Opened in 1940, the bridge earned the nickname the Galloping Gertie due to its tendency to sway and vibrate in windy conditions. Just 4 months after opening, the bridge collapsed in the Tacoma Narrows Strait during a windstorm. The collapse was attributed to a phenomenon known as aeroelastic flutter. I don't even know what that means, but it sounds cool, which was not well understood at the time. The event led to significant advancements in our understanding of wind engineering and bridge design to prevent similar failures, right? So somebody saw that and they went, let's not do that again. And so they improved on the instruction manual, okay? The other one that I read about was this place called, it was the Hyatt Regency walkway collapse of 1981. The disaster was one of the deadliest structure collapses in the United States, and it occurred in Kansas City, Missouri during a dance competition held at the Hyatt Regency Hotel. 2 vertically contiguous walkways collapsed onto a crowded dance floor below, killing 114 people and injuring 200. The investigation revealed a fatal flaw in the design of the walkway support system, which doubled the load on the connector rods, leading to their failure. This incident led to widespread changes in engineering standards and practices, emphasizing the importance of thorough design review and communication among all parties involved in the construction process. Such great lessons. Failures teach us. The failures in your own business. Hopefully a failure in your business doesn't lead to 114 deaths, but the death of a business, I'm just going to say this from personal experience. The death of a business is like it's a kind of spiritual death. You know, I crashed 3 companies early on in my career, and I got to the other side of that and I wanted to give up. I wanted to give up on everything. I wanted to give up on life. I wanted to give up on everything. I didn't know what to do. I didn't have a high school diploma. I didn't have a college degree. I had no family with money. There was no fallback position for me, which is why I ended up homeless and had to eventually figure out how to get back on my feet. If there's nothing else that comes from these shows, but the ability for somebody to think through or to hear something that causes them to avoid going bankrupt with their business, I've done my job because I know what it's like. I know what it's like to go through that. I know what it's like to caused a divorce in my life. It caused me separation from being in the same home, waking up in the same home with my children. It caused me embarrassment in my community. It caused me to start drinking, to deal with the stress of it. It was my identity that had died with that company. And so many people don't understand that you start this thing, and if you don't get it right, there are severe ramifications when it doesn't work. And so that's why we talk about this. Again, like I said, hopefully it doesn't end in the death of 114 people like this failure did, but also, I don't want it to end up being a spiritual death or an emotional death or a relationship death or whatever it is. It's hard to come back from. Personal experience, I'm telling you, it's just something you don't want to do, okay? And then the third one I read about was in 1995. It's more recent. It was in Seoul, Korea, and it's one of the deadliest, most modern building collapses. And it was called the Sampoong Department Store Collapse of 1995. The department store collapsed due to a combination of poor design, unauthorized alterations, and an addition of heavy air conditioning units on the roof, which compromised the structural integrity of the business or the building. The collapse resulted in over 500 deaths and numerous injuries. It highlighted the dangers of ignoring building codes and regulations, as well as the need for rigorous inspection and oversight during the construction and throughout the lifespan of a building, right? And those three, they serve as like a grim reminder of the critical importance of adhering to engineering principles, maintaining ethical standards in design and construction, and the need for ongoing education and improvement in building safety and protocols, okay? Again, all of this applies. If you're a builder of business, all of this applies. The cross-pollination, getting outside of your industry, reading books, reading about other things that apply to the way that you believe about things, right? And so let's flip it on its head. Let's flip it on its head and talk about some structural successes. Not just structural successes, but ones that are feats of modern engineering, modern architecture. The Burj Khalifa, which I had the awesome opportunity to go to and then go to the top of in Dubai, and it stands as a testament to human ingenuity and the possibilities of modern construction. The tallest building in the world, it reaches an impressive height of approximately 2,717 feet. The design and construction of the Burj Khalifa involved extensive wind tunnel testing, innovative structural engineering to ensure its stability against wind forces and potential seismic activity. They even thought through, what would happen if there was some seismic activity, an earthquake. The building's Y-shaped floor plan and the use of its high-performance concrete are among the key features that contribute to its strength and stability, making it not just an architectural marvel, but also a triumph in engineering. What does that mean? We talk about the Patek Philippe Grandmaster Chime almost every show that we do. It's thought. It's putting the thought into it and then having the skill sets that align with the outcome. Those skill sets can be learned in business, right? We have the growth course. We've got Anton J if you need our personal help. You've got other things. You've got YouTube videos. You can go to somebody in your local community and have conversations with them. But you learn how to do that. You do the pre-planning. You envision it. You say, here's the building that I'm building. Then you do the planning on how to make that real. And then you go to work and building it, and you have measurement. You say, did we get that right? You test it. Did we get that right? You test it. Yes, it works. Boom, you move ahead. Are you a business owner that's looking to build your company into a machine that creates cash? I'm Jason Sisneros, chairman and founder of Anton J Global, a world-class business consulting company that has turned around, merged, or prepped for sale hundreds of companies just like yours. I'm best known as the architect when it comes to fixing and building companies across the globe. My experience comes from owning and exiting over 20 of my own companies successfully. It's that real-world experience that I've converted into the ultimate blueprint that has saved and grown my clients' businesses. If you're tired of getting bad advice, have bought all the books, all the coaching programs, and still aren't seeing the success that you were promised, it might be time to work with a team that has actual experience and a track record of success. Please scan the QR code or visit antonj.com to schedule your free 15-minute consultation to see if we can help you reach your outcomes. That's antonj.com, ANTONJAE.com. The Guggenheim Museum, right? I'm not going to go through too many of these, but the Guggenheim Museum, if you've ever been to that, it was designed by Frank Gehry. Frank Gehry, famous architect. And it's located in Bilbao, Spain, and it's a masterpiece of contemporary architecture known for its innovative design and use of cutting-edge materials. The museum's unique flowing form was made possible by advances in computer-aided design manufacturing technology, allowing for the precise fabrication of its titanium panels and the complex shapes of its structure. The Guggenheim is not only an icon of modern architecture, but also a catalyst for the economic and cultural revitalization of the city, illustrating the transformative power of innovative architectural design. Okay, this is another architectural success, an example of thinking, having a great vision in mind, but then going through the process of actually doing a blueprint that works, and then knowing how to apply that inside of your business, okay, or inside of the building process. Let's talk about a few businesses that have gotten this right. Okay, you got Patagonia. That's a great example. Started in 1973, and you think again, it's an innovative company. It was it's just coats, it's outerwear, it's hiking stuff. But how did Patagonia become the way that they did? They had a plan, he had a vision, and he came back and he built a plan, and then he executed on it, And he was doing some things that were different at the time. Remember that this company started back in 1973. There was nobody worried about environmental causes. There was nobody that was worried about the things that we worry about today, but he used that as a business model. And despite his, and I'm going to read from this, despite these seemingly counterintuitive practices, think about what you do right now. Are you doing anything counterintuitive to what everybody else is doing in your industry? If you're not, why not? If you're not doing something counterintuitive, then you're not innovating. If 95% of the people in your industry are going to go out of business in the next 10 years, you should be doing something counterintuitive. You should be, maybe doing something, get a new piece of information, hiring somebody new, applying strategic innovation in your own industry, because either you're going to influence change in your industry or it's going to be enforced upon you. Right? Those of you that were in the live conversation, we already spoke a little bit at the beginning of the show. If you're here on X, you heard me talk to Julian Bryce and all of the major changes that are happening in the real estate world. Right? That's a change that's going on in the industry that is being forced upon people that weren't ready for it, that maybe didn't see it coming unless you were driving that innovation. So you're going to have to adapt. Cliff Bar, this guy gets offered $120 million to buy his company back in 2000, right? And it's a decision that many viewed as folly at the time. Erickson chose to maintain ownership because he felt that acquiring his company would not uphold his values of sustainability and employee well-being. Again, this guy, again, just read about these stories. Like, take some time and read about these companies because they did things differently. They're here years later. They're hundreds of millions of dollars worth of businesses. By focusing on organic ingredients, environmental sustainability, and unique employee-centered corporate culture. Okay? Those of you that have been through the growth course, you know that we have an entire segment that is focused on an innovation in employee-centered situations that's unique in business. That I applied to all my businesses, that we've applied in the businesses that we consult for. It's unique. Okay? Airbnb, right? I know a lot of people are frustrated by the cleaning fees right now, but if you think about Airbnb before it was ever a concept, it was just in 2008 it started. Now it's just part of the lexicon, right? It's part of the world. It's like you could just go rent an entire house. You can rent a room. You could do whatever it is, and based on your income, and it's somebody else's house that you're staying in. So the point is that those are 3 successes. Let's talk about a couple of failures, right? We've talked about Theranos here, founded by Elizabeth Holmes, promised to revolutionize the healthcare industry, right? Innovative blood testing technology that claimed, if your business claims to do something and doesn't do it, it's a Theranos, right? It's an imitator. So it claimed to require only tiny amounts of blood, and the company attracted significant media attention. Again, think about all those companies out there that everybody admires. They seem like they're doing well, but you know that they have a 95% chance that they're not going to be around. So just because they're touting things, they had a valuation of $10 billion. The technology never existed, y'all. Think about that for a second. You do something real. People that are listening to this show, people that are building real businesses, you do something real. Whatever it is that you do, it's real. And you're here on this show to learn how to make more money doing what you do. This company was valued at $10 billion and it did nothing. It did nothing. The investigations revealed that Theranos technology was fundamentally flawed and the company had engaged in deceptive practices, and the revelation led to the company's collapse, legal battles, widespread scrutiny over Silicon Valley startup culture, and the hype surrounding it. And by the way, Elizabeth Holmes in jail. Okay? That's a major failure. Enron, a titan of the energy industry. Their downfall is one of the most infamous corporate collapses in history. In the late 1990s, Enron was praised praised for its innovations in energy trading and was named America's most innovative company by Fortune magazine for 6 consecutive years. Okay? Fortune magazine, 6 consecutive years, was called the most innovative company. However, I love the however. It's very predictable. The however and the turn, the twist. In 2001, it was revealed that much of Enron's success was built on fraudulent accounting practices designed to hide debt and inflate profits. The scandal led to the company's bankruptcy, the loss of thousands of jobs, and the dissolution of Arthur Andersen, one of the 5 largest audit and accountancy partnerships in the world. The Enron scandal became emblematic of corporate misconduct and led to significant regulatory reforms, including Sarbanes-Oxley, which went, in some areas too far. But the point being, and again, a man ended up in prison and ended up dying in prison, right? On top of the world, on the magazines, on the jets, right? On the yachts, all of the stuff, traveling around, doing all of the stuff with a business that was an imitator. It was a business that was an imitator. And there's real result. There's real outcomes. People get used to that stuff. They think we live in a time frame, y'all. And this is, and then I'm going to go into what you do instead, and how we need to look at this. But think about this for just a second. You're surrounded by people that on Instagram, you're surrounded by people that you see out there in the news, all that kind of stuff being touted right now as the greatest coaches, the greatest consultants, the greatest this, the greatest business, the greatest real estate, the greatest this and that and the other. And 95% chance that they're one of those failure stories. 95% chance. You should be focused just at, if nothing else, you should be focused on the 5% that are succeeding. And the challenge with the 5%, right? This is the only show that I do. This is the only content that I put out. Everything that you see on my social media are going to be snippets of this. And otherwise, I'm in the arena, baby, right? I'm helping companies. I'm buying companies. I'm building companies. My wife and I are building, businesses. I'm in the game, right? 5%. And it's been years. I was able to successfully exit my stuff back in 2019, and I just continue to do what I do. But I am absolutely free. I completely own my time. I'm able, if the phone rings right now and Pastor Rudy calls me up and says, hey, Jason, we've got a rescue to go get a kid. There is nothing holding me back. I don't have to show up in an office tomorrow. I don't have a business. I could be gone for a month. We could go out of the country. We could do, whatever it is. I can go undercover for as long as I need to go. And by the way, be able to finance the entire operation if we can't raise the amount of money that we need via funds, right? That's freedom for me. Right? And it's not about me, it's about what you're trying to create. And it can only happen if you focus on the processes and the patterns of the 5%. Forget the 95%. Most of the people that you're watching on Instagram, most of the people that you're listening to that are telling you how to do what you're doing better, most of them are not going to be around for very long. So find the 5% and listen to them, okay? Let's get into the content. Write this stuff down or go to Built to Exit, BUILTTOEXIT.biz, builttoexit.biz. Put your email address in there and you'll get all of these notes sent to you every single week. Once you join that, you don't have to sign up more than once, but you just put your email address in. And you get that, and you'll get all of these show notes. But take some notes right now for your next week, okay? And we're going to talk about 10 things. I'm going to go through these very, very quickly. But let's use the concept. I was like, well, we're going to talk about being a master builder or an imitator. And we had a discussion about structures that have been architected that failed, structures that were architected that succeeded. Then we talked about businesses that succeeded because of their architecture and businesses that failed. So let's talk about it from that perspective. And I just went in and I said, okay, what do architects think about? Number one, their very first concept that they think about is the groundwork. okay? Understanding the basics of business, setting goals, and laying groundwork for the future. What do we talk about? For us, that's end game. You're going to understand that what it is that you're going to build towards. You're going to understand the thing that you deliver. Right? I'm not here to teach you math, right? Finance is a piece of business. I'm not here to teach you math, and I'm not here to teach you how to be better at what it is that you do. I don't know how to sell real estate. I don't know how. There's, whatever it is that you do for a living, I don't know how to do what you do. But I am here to talk about how you architect that into an actual business. And the first thing is, if you don't have the groundwork laid, then you're starting from the wrong base. Okay? Second thing, what does an architect think about? They think about framework. Okay? Detailed planning of your business model, financial planning, and market analysis. Right? That's your framework. Your blueprint. Let's talk about that for a second. A blueprint for a building, your detailed planning of your business model, right? Your financial planning and your market analysis. Sorry, I missed one. The framework is developing, framework, let me step back. The second thing is framework, developing the structure of the business, including key operations, team roles, and initial strategies. Blueprint, detailing the business model, financial planning, and market analysis. Infrastructure, establishing your core systems and processes that will support business growth, such as IT, right? Your technology, your HR, and your financial needs as you move forward. Bricklaying, implementing and refining your operational processes, building the walls of your business. Insulation, streamlining operations and improving efficiency to protect against market volatility. Interior design, developing your internal and external brand, your culture, your customer experience, your marketing. Landscaping, expanding the business through new markets, products, and services, and building external relationships. Reinforcement, strengthening your business's capacity to withstand challenges and ensure sustainability. And then you end up with your monument, right? Achieving a business that not only sustains itself, but it's also ready for a successful exit, whether through sale or passing on to new management, or you still working there, but you're not obligated to be there, right? Those are the processes and the procedures and the way that you should be looking at your business, okay? Those are the things that you should be looking at. And let me see, I think I had one more. So when we talk about, sorry, I'm looking for something. Let's talk just a little bit about technology, okay? Because everybody is going through this madness, this AI madness. And here's where I want you to focus that, right? We just talked about the architecture. I know AI is on everybody's mind, looking at how you apply it to your business. But I found an article in Business News Daily, and there was this one segment that popped out to me that really fit into this concept, this conversation that we've been having about being a master builder or an imitator, and this new tool that's out there called AI. And this popped out to me because I want to talk about it. It says AI and big data will drive personalization. What do we talk about constantly here? Falling in love with the outcome of your client. If AI and big data can drive you to understand them and serve them better, it's a great tool. If you're looking for something, there's two ways technology, I've said this before on multiple different conversations. If you're utilizing technology to do a stiff arm to get away from your customers, right? You're doing it because you don't want to have that many conversations. You don't have that. You're trying to automate your sales process by never talking to anybody. You're trying to keep away from the complaints. That's a mistake. That is a mistaken way to use a powerful tool that could be assisting you in driving your personalization, falling deeper in love. I think about my relationship with my wife. Every day I wake up, I roll over, I look at this woman, I go, I'm so lucky to be married to this woman, that she said yes to me. What can I do today that will make her smile more? What can I do today to make her feel more loved? What can I do today to expand our adventure? What can I do today to help her get to her next level in whatever it is that she's doing? Right? That's how we should be in relationship to our clients. We should constantly wake up, right? Maybe it's not the first thing, maybe it's second. First thing I say when I wake up is I go, Today's a day of miracles, right? Today's a day of miracles. I wake up with that thought process, and then I roll over, and it's proven to me because I've got this woman laying next to me that is mine for the rest of my life, right? But let's talk about our relationship with our customers, and I'm just going to read this segment really quick, and then we're going to wrap it up. Other technologies, this is in the article. I'll get to who the author is here for proper attribution, but it's out of Business News Daily. Let me just get the author so I don't forget it. I'll get rolling talking. The author is Alex Halperin, Halperin. And he's the writer. Now I got to get back to that segment. And so other technologies, businesses can't get away from AI and data analytics. These two technologies are an ideal match that allows businesses to not only collect massive troves of data, but also to use machine learning to make sense of that data. The insights businesses gain in this way can be used to target marketing campaigns and find new efficiencies in internal processes. You can have a high level of personalization today because of big data. You can use it to create custom user experience because you know what your customers want in a predictable way. AI can do more than simply contextualize business data. It can, for example, this call is transcribed by AI. This is the interview that they did. And if I say action item, it will automatically take action items. If I say $50, it'll automatically create a section for the money that we're mentioning. Getting started with AI is more affordable than you think. Depending on what your business is and you're looking to accomplish, you can leverage AI and automation in a very affordable way. You can just get one personal business license for a lot of tools out there, okay? So I'm not an AI expert. I'm not here to talk about AI. What I'm trying to say is that there's a lot of tools, and if it doesn't get turned into an asset, it's something that you're going to buy, like a treadmill that you bought 10 years ago to lose 5 pounds, and it's collecting dust and holding up all your tools, and stuff's hung all over it, and it's worthless. These tools need to be built into an asset. What's an asset? I'm going to say it one more time. It's technology, people, process, and measurement that creates a predictive outcome that doesn't involve the owner. Okay, a predictable outcome. And that outcome should create a raving fan. So those are the ideas and the way that I want you to think about technology and your commitment. Like I said, I'm going to close this way with you understanding that being a builder of a business will change your life. Just the idea that everything that you do in your business should be a technology, it should involve technology, a person, process, and measurement, connected to a very specific outcome. The Lego box, the picture on the box, the instruction manuals inside, and the pieces to make it come to life. And you will come to the realization, if you know other people that you know maybe they're not articulating it, they're tired of their business, they're getting overwhelmed. It's not sustainable unless you're building something that requires less of you tomorrow than it did today. And so when you come to that realization, just the idea of being a master builder, designating yourself like that, it's like going from being a smoker or being an alcoholic or being whatever it is, and then changing your identity to becoming an athlete. You're just going to make massive difference. We talk about dominoes. I want to hit one domino that knocks down 50. I don't want to do 50 different things. I want to do one domino that knocks down 50 things. Calling myself an athlete is going to align my belief with the decisions that I make throughout the day unconsciously. If I'm an athlete, I'm going to watch what I put in my mouth. If I'm an athlete, I'm going to drink more water than I do alcohol. If I'm an athlete, I'm going to sleep the proper amount of time so that my body has time to restore. In business, it's no different. You have to designate yourself somebody that's a master builder, that's going to build assets. If you don't know how to build assets, like I said, we have growthcourse.com/freedom for your chairman project discount. We got Anton J. You can call us on the phone, ANTONJAE.com. You can go there and set an appointment to talk to Joe or anybody on the team for 30 minutes for free. If you have something very specific in your business, you can come here for free every single weekend. For 30 minutes, we do Q&A. You can go to somebody in your business, in your local community, and take them out to lunch and ask them some questions. You can watch YouTube videos. There's all kinds of content out there. But unless you understand that you're a master builder, that content is going to go onto a cup that is turned upside down, flow over the top, and not fill up anything. So commit to that master builder. Commit to these processes. Come here every single week. Thank you to everybody that's coming here. The show is really getting some great traction, which means the content is being able to be used by you week to week. That's the only reason why this show would grow, is because it's being able to be used. Why you're sharing it with people, other people in the business and community that are tired of gurus that are full of shit, right? That are tired of putting in the work. The one thing that I know about the SME community, right, is that we do not have a problem working hard. We have no problem working hard. What I got tired of, what I know a lot of you are tired of, are the bullshit artists that are selling you smoke, right? They're selling you snake oil. This is not easy. It is not going to be done in 7 days. It's not going to be, you can't buy a business and then exit it 4 months later and be massively rich. You know and understand that it takes hard work. You've been doing the hard work. What you want is the right information and the right structure to be able to architect your own end game. And your end game is not my end game, it's your end game. And so this content is meant to help keep you free. Why? I'll say this like I say it every single week. Because unless we have independent access to capital through our small businesses, we are going to be working for, enslaved by unethical capitalist multinational corporations that tell us when to show up, when we can get sick, when we can spend time with our kids, how much money we're worth. All that is a caste system. Because they're coordinated with a centralized government that doesn't give a shit about us either. Or else they wouldn't have called you non-essential. They would not have called you non-essential during COVID. 60% of the GDP in the United States of America being done by SMEs. 60% of the hiring. And we got called non-essential. No more. All of this is leading to UBA, Unstoppable Business Alliance, where we all gather together with our talents, our tool. We're doing business with each other, and we keep small businesses, we keep medium-sized companies, and we keep this country free because we have independent access to capital. We're not begging on our knees to a government to give us money. We're not begging on our knees to a multinational that set the rules up against us, coordinating with that government. We have our freedom in our hands, and if we do not exercise it as a group, all together at the same time, at this point in history, our kids are not going to grow up with the same freedoms and opportunities that we have. That's why the show exists. That's why I believe that this community is growing, because we see the writing on the walls. We see how easy it is for companies to go out of business in a normal environment, much less the environment that we find ourselves in today. So band together, do business with each other, find each other. Everybody that's listening to the show is just like you. You can learn something from them, especially the growth course graduates. They've been through 28 hours of my content. A lot of the people, you can go to my LinkedIn page, and you can see the people that put their names and their business names, and you can call them up and say, hey, what did you do? What do we, blah, 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 right? I want to grow this community. And whether you ever buy anything from Anton J, whether you ever do the growth course or whatever it is, you take this content, you apply it, and you get better, you make more money, you get more free, you keep me more free, you keep my children free, you keep your children free. That's the only hope that we have, y'all. So it's more than just a show. It's more than just a business. It's an act of rebellion to succeed in your company. And I know you're a bunch of rebels. So I love you. Got a little intense there at the end. But we're here in Florida. Next week, the show will be back on the normal time because we'll be in the home studio back in Charleston, South Carolina, 9 o'clock to 10:30 a.m. Bring friends, share this content out. Now, a couple of days, 2 or 3 days after the show, I do this all on video, so you can go to YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, anywhere where you listen to your podcast, you can get this show and you can help share it, okay? Thank you all very much for your time. It's the most important thing that you have to give. And I know that those of you that are dedicated, the numbers are growing, of those of you that show up here live, so that we have great conversations. You can ask questions about your business. I love you all very much, and I can't wait to see you again next week. I'm Jason Sisneros, and I'll talk to you next week.